Every day we make decisions that feel logical, but unknowingly trigger ripple effects we never see. What if the way you think isn't just shaping your choices, but silently shaping entire systems around you? To understand how our minds navigate complexity, we need to explore two powerful modes of thought: critical thinking and systems thinking. One dissects ideas, the other maps consequences. Let's begin with critical thinking, the scalpel of the intellect. So, what is it? Think of it like being a detective for ideas. You don't just accept things you hear, you stop, you look closely, you ask questions. Critical thinking is the skill of carefully analyzing information to decide if it is true, false, or somewhere in between. It is about making a good judgment based on evidence. It is a way to make sure your beliefs are solid and your choices are smart. It is a fundamental tool for navigating our world.
Welcome back to Critical Thinking Secrets, the channel that gets you to think, well, critically.
Let's break down the steps of this mental detective work. The first step is to identify the problem or the question. What are you trying to figure out? Maybe your phone is not charging. That is the problem. Next, you gather information. You check the cable. You try a different outlet. You see if the charging port is clean. You are collecting data, just like a scientist. You are not jumping to conclusions. You are systematically looking for clues that can help you understand what is happening. This careful collection of facts is the foundation upon which all good decisions are built. After you have your information, you analyze it. This is a big step. You look at all the clues you gathered. Is the cable frayed? Does the other outlet work with a lamp? Is there lint in the charging port? You are looking for patterns and connections. You might form a hypothesis, which is a sciencey way of saying an educated guess. For example, your hypothesis might be, my charging cable is broken. You are evaluating the strength of each piece of evidence you have found. This evaluation process helps you sort the useful information from the noise. Finally, you reach a conclusion and take action. Based on your analysis, you decide the most likely cause of the problem. If you tried another cable and the phone started charging, your conclusion is that the original cable was the problem. The action is simple: you get a new cable. Critical thinking is not just about finding problems, it is about solving them. It is a step-by-step process that helps you move from confusion to clarity. You use it every day, from fixing a phone to deciding which news story to believe. It is a superpower for your brain. Now let's zoom out. Look at another incredible way to think. It is called systems thinking. If critical thinking is like using a magnifying glass, systems thinking is like using a satellite. It is all about seeing the big picture. A system is a group of connected parts that work together. Your body is a system. A car is a system. An ecosystem like a forest is a system. Systems thinking is the ability to see how all these different parts influence one another within a whole. It helps us understand that one small change in one part of the system can cause big, surprising changes somewhere else. Let's think about a real-life example. Imagine a city decides to build a huge new highway to solve traffic jams. A critical thinker might analyze the cost and the engineering of the highway. That is important. But a systems thinker would ask different questions. How will this highway affect the neighborhoods it cuts through? Where will all the new cars go once they get off the highway? Will it encourage more people to drive, leading to more pollution and, eventually, even worse traffic? A systems thinker sees the traffic jam not as a single problem, but as part of a larger transportation system. The core of systems thinking is understanding relationships, patterns, feedback loops. A feedback loop is when the output of an action circles back to affect the original action. For example, more cars on the road, the action, lead to more traffic jams. The output. The traffic jams then make people demand more roads. The feedback. This is a reinforcing loop. Systems thinking helps us spot these loops. It helps us see that the obvious solution, like building more roads, might actually make the problem worse over time by reinforcing the very behavior that caused it. So, how does this help us? By understanding the whole system, we can find better, more lasting solutions. Instead of just building a new highway, a systems thinker might suggest improving public transportation, creating more bike lanes, encouraging companies to allow remote work. These solutions address the entire system of how people move around a city. They do not just treat a single symptom. Systems thinking allows us to move beyond simple cause and effect, and see the complex, interconnected web of our world. It helps us design smarter solutions for a complex planet. So we have these two powerful ways of thinking: critical thinking and systems thinking. How are they different? The biggest difference is their focus. Critical thinking is like a laser beam. It focuses on a single part of a problem. It deconstructs, breaks things into smaller pieces to analyze. It is linear, following a logical sequence from A to B to C. Think about diagnosing that broken phone. You look at the cable, you check the outlet, you inspect the port. You're breaking the problem down to find the one faulty component. It's incredibly useful for root cause of a specific issue. Systems thinking, on the other hand, is like a wide-angle lens. It focuses on the whole and the connections between parts. It synthesizes, puts things together to see interactions. It is circular, looking for feedback loops and patterns over time. Instead of breaking things down, it expands the view to include more factors. For traffic, it doesn't just look at one car or one road, it looks at the transportation network. City planning, population growth, human behavior. It's about understanding the context the problem exists in. Another analogy. Imagine a sick plant. A critical thinker examines the plant closely. They check the leaves for spots. They check the stem for weakness. They inspect the soil around the base for pests. They might conclude the plant needs a specific fertilizer or pesticide. Detailed, focused analysis. Goal: fix the immediate visible problem in that single plant. Precise and targeted. A systems thinker would also look but immediately zoom out. They ask, how much sun is the whole garden getting? Is the soil quality poor everywhere? Are other plants also unhealthy? Is there a problem with the local water source or with air quality? They see the sick plant as a symptom of imbalance in the garden ecosystem. Goal: ensure the health of the whole system. Focus shifts from the object to the relationships around it. Now for the really cool part. Critical thinking and systems thinking are not enemies. They are not an either-or choice. They are partners. They are two different tools in your mental toolbox, and the best thinkers know how to use them together. Think about it. You cannot understand a system without understanding its parts, and you cannot truly understand the parts without seeing how they fit into the system. Using both together gives you a much more complete and powerful understanding of any problem you face. It is like having both the magnifying glass and the satellite. Let's go back to our city with the traffic problem. A team of city planners could use both types of thinking. They would start with systems thinking to map out the entire transportation system. They would identify all the interconnected parts: roads, public transit, population centers, business districts, pollution levels, economic factors. This big picture view helps them see the feedback loops, like how building new roads encourages more driving. It helps them identify the key leverage points where a small change could have a big positive impact on the whole system. Once they have that big picture map, they bring in critical thinking. They use it to analyze each potential solution they identified. If they are considering a new subway line, they would use critical thinking to analyze the costs. The engineering challenges the best route geological surveys potential passenger numbers. They would critically evaluate the data for each option, weighing the pros and cons based on solid evidence. This detailed, logical analysis is essential to make sure the chosen solution is practical, affordable, and effective. So, you see how they work in a cycle. Systems thinking helps you see the forest and decide where to act. Critical thinking helps you examine the individual trees and figure out how to act. You zoom out with systems thinking to understand the context and identify possibilities. Then you zoom in with critical thinking to analyze the details and make a smart choice. By combining the expansive, holistic view of systems thinking with the precise analytical power of critical thinking, you can develop solutions that are not only effective in the short term but also beneficial and sustainable for the entire system in the long run. So there you have it. 2 amazing ways to upgrade your thinking. Critical thinking is your inner detective. Analyze details. Question assumptions, make logical judgments based on evidence. It is the tool you use to break down complex problems into manageable parts. And find the specific cause. It gives you clarity and precision. It is about making sure your conclusions are built on a solid foundation of facts and logic. It is an essential skill for avoiding mistakes and making sound decisions in your daily life.
Want to start thinking like a scientist? Become smarter and make better decisions? I thought you did. Then get the Critical Thinking Toolkit, a powerful resource packed with checklists, mental models, and practical guides to help you avoid mistakes and sharpen your reasoning skills. Stop wasting time on bad decisions and start thinking with clarity. Grab your copy now, link in the description below. Thanks again for joining us today. Enjoyed this video? Thought so. For a more in-depth analysis, visit our website, www.istock.com. criticalthinkingsecrets.com to read the full article.
Please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you stay up to date with our latest weekly release content. We have over 300 videos on our channel to help kickstart your critical thinking journey. Also, as an added bonus, just for supporting our channel, you can download our free critical thinking ebook. So go ahead and click the link below. Till next time, keep those critical thinking gears turning.